Innate imprint is something that has been with you for a very, very long time. It is not something that comes as a result of imprint. It is something that has been there for many, many, many aeons. Example of the innate imprint is ignorance. Another innate imprint is anger. Another innate imprint is desire. So those kind of imprints are very deep and they're very basic and they're the roots of the other imprints. So if you cut them off, the symptomatic signs of those will be gone. So innate imprints are the basic three in the center, in the center of the samsara wheel, represented by the chicken, pig, and snake. Innate. Anger, desire, ignorance. Yes, these three. Acquired imprint is something like imprint that is innate. From the innate imprint of not destroying that, you make other imprints as a result of that. Example, if you're very angersome and you have a habit of being angry and not destroying that imprint, another result of that anger may manifest. Some people manifest anger in never speaking to you again. Some people manifest in anger in scolding you. So when they scold, and that becomes a habit, and if they do it again and again and again as a manifestation of the innate imprint, that becomes an acquired imprint. It is an imprint that's acquired as a result of the innate imprint. How do we promote good imprints? Pacha. The imprints in Tibetan, you will say pacha. Pacha is imprints. Now, number one, you need to identify. You need to identify the imprint. Number two, you need to know that that imprint creates negative actions. Three, you need to know that there is methods to cut those imprints. Four, application of those methods. Now, there are many, many ways to cut imprints. If you wish to cut an imprint that leaves you in suffering in samsara, if you wish to cut an imprint that leaves you suffering in samsara, in order to cut that imprint, not only can you apply the methods and know what to do, you need to also have the collection of merits in order to support the practice of cutting off those imprints. So, if you do not have the merits accumulated from practice to support the practice to cut off those imprints, then even application and knowing the methods will be futile, will be useless. So the collection of merits is very, very important for cutting off negative habituations or imprints. One of the best ways for doing that is on an immediate level for people who are not initiated. On an immediate level is the preliminary practices, okay, which will be prostrations, Vajrasattva's mantra, Guru Yoga, mandala offerings. Those preliminary practices are especially designed in order to cut away at negative imprints, and it's very unique because they cut at the same time they collect the merit to give you the power to cut. It's like it's a knife with a sharpener, as opposed to a knife that becomes dull after a while. So the sharpener is the collection of merits. 1. 2 is to engage in some type of meditational sadhana. If you engage in any type of meditational sadhana, example, if your yidam is, your meditational deity is Avalokiteshvara, Chenezi, or Nyesun Kundro, we received that right? Example, if your meditational deity is Nyesun Kundro, or your meditational deity is Lama Tsongkhapa, whatever. In the case of an initiate, you would visualize yourself in the form of a deity. And the reality around you is the reality of a deity. All that you perceive is that of a deity. If you do that, you collect a positive and very, very powerful imprint, cutting off previous habituation and implanting the seeds in order that you become Avalokiteshvara in the future. So, sadhana, dake, in Tibetan we say sadhana, is dake. Da means oneself, ke means to grow or to transform or to change. So dake means self-transformation. Self-transformation from that of a negative, unhappy, controlled, subjugated, karmically inflicted person that is stuck in suffering and samsara and ignorance, transformed into a person who is bright, clear, with wisdom, compassion, and in short, one that becomes a Buddha. In this case, Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, or Chenezi, or Kuan Yin. So when you do a sadhana, the process of the sadhana is actually to transform you from that of an ordinary person into that of a fully enlightened being. So every time you do the sadhana, you do it well. You do it correctly. Conjoined with holding the vows and commitments along with it. You'll get one step closer and closer and closer. The transformation will change. And in fact, when you do your sadhanas very, very, very well, transforming one's mind becomes effortless. Very effortless. Why? Some people know a lot of Dharma, but their actions do not reflect their knowledge. Some people know very little Dharma, but they can apply it in such a way that they look like they know a lot of Dharma, but they don't. Why? Because knowledge of the Dharma is not enough in bringing the result. You need merits. Without the collection of merits, simply applying methods of Dharma, you will not get any results. It's like a cook who knows the ingredients of a food and what to do, or a chef that just takes things and throws things in a pot and cooks it. He doesn't know the timing, he doesn't know the season, he doesn't know the heat, he doesn't know anything what to put in to make it delicious. So, the collection of merit is extremely, extremely important. And then some people have said, well, Christians will always try to convert people and say the more they convert, it will bring them closer to heaven. And at the same time, they save the other person. Isn't that a selfish attitude? In Buddhism, it's always, why don't you do things for the sake of doing it for the other person? Why do you keep doing it for the sake of collection of merit so that you can become a Buddha and you can be free from samsara and suffering? People have come up with that question, and I think it's a very good question. Why do you always think about collecting merits? Why do Buddhists always say merit, 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 merit? Why don't you just do it? Then I say that's very true. But don't stop there. You don't collect merits for the sake of collecting merit. You don't stop there. For the sake of all sentient beings, I will engage in a practice, this sadhana, this practice, or this item. So what you're doing is, you're not collecting karma for yourself to be free. You're collecting karma in order to gain the ability to be of the utmost benefit for others. But in the process, as a byproduct, you yourself, even without wanting it, become free of suffering and samsara. You yourself become a Buddha as a byproduct. So you don't do good things and positive things and practices and meditations for the sake of yourself being free from suffering. It doesn't stop there. Yes, I want to collect merit. We'll say in Tibetan very easily, make some offerings, you'll collect merit. It's said like that, but with the understanding that, no, the merit is not collected for yourself. The merit is collected that you may become a position, be within a position to be of even more benefit to others. To be of more benefit to others. That is why you collect merit. It isn't just collect merit, then I'll be happy. If you have a lot of merit, you have a lot of good karma, you get good food, yes you will. You get friends, yes you will. You will get money, you will get all these things because these things are based on merit. Yes you will. But that's not the reason why you get it. It's a side product. That's it. Example, some girls may wash their hair and make it shiny and long and attractive so that when you walk down the street in the sunlight, you catch it, some guy sees them and they can attract them. Yes, but a side product is they don't get like lice. It doesn't smell. Diseases don't come. The skin doesn't crack because it's dirty. That's a side product. They may not think about that, but that's a side product. Similarly, you don't collect merit that you can be free from samsara or sufferings. That's not the reason why you're collecting merit. The reason why you are collecting merit is simplified form of saying with the understanding that I wish to become a fully enlightened being. I wish to be in a position that I'm qualified to be a benefit to others. That is why I will do this action. Everything else comes along as a side product. See, I stress these points all the time. I will stress it for the rest of my life if I give Dharma talks all the time. Some of you may think, doesn't he have anything else to talk about? I may or may not, doesn't really matter. But for some people, they've heard it. They don't practice it. I need to say it again and again and again to remind them until the day they actually practice it. For some, they have not heard it. So if you are practicing it perfectly, you can be bored. in hearing it again and again. If you are not practicing it perfectly, you should listen to it again and again and think deeply, why? And examine why I'm not practicing it. So some people may think, oh, this Rinpoche, all he ever talks about is self-transformation. He doesn't give any initiations, he doesn't do any rituals, he doesn't do anything fancy, you know. He doesn't jump up and down, nothing. He doesn't wear weird clothes and run around and give us a show like they do in the Himalayas. So boring. He doesn't even chant and throw some rice on us, nothing. Well, sorry, wrong picture show. My hang-up is this. All that doesn't matter if you don't understand these basics. If these basics are not understood and practiced, what's the point of going to different types of Buddhism? What's the point of doing elaborate rituals? To tell you all the truth, elaborate rituals, long pujas, initiations, all that, they bore me silly. Why? I've been doing them for years and years, attending, receiving, giving for many years. You don't see transformation in people. You don't see a change in people. Some people even run around saying, oh, I've received so many X number of initiations, I'm better than you. So for me, initiations and all those rituals and all those practices are of no benefit if you don't understand the subtleties of karma, if you don't understand the reason why we attend the Dharma, if you don't understand why we want the Dharma, why we're practicing the Dharma. If you can understand that and you actually practice the cause and effect, karma, you practice that. You practice the practices of regret. And then you do one simple sadhana, one simple meditational practice every day. You will see more results than if you do 100 meditational practices. The foundation is there.